Welcome to the very first full episode of Grace Grit and Everything in Between podcast, and I'm so glad you're here. Since this is our first time hanging out, I thought I'd use today's episode to share a little about me, who I am, why I started this podcast, and what I hope you get from tuning in. So, I am a 49-year-old mum of four with two grandchildren and another one on its way. I am a fur mama to three rescue cats and a partner in a puppy cockapoo. She's actually my daughter's, but I seem to be here having her all the time. Um, I basically decided to start this podcast because over the last 8 years, and probably a lot longer, um, I've been helping people with little tools and tips and things that I've picked up along the way through kind of my own experiences as well as doing courses. And I decided after being it suggested a few times over the last, I would say the last year, I decided to throw myself in and do this podcast because I figured I'd be able to help a lot more this way. The way I have been doing it, I am a qualified makeup artist, which I've been qualified in makeup artistry for 8 years now. But I am a online beauty influencer. So I collaborate with a brand. The current brand is Pharmacy. The brand before that is the brand that obviously I learned a lot from. And what I've picked up over the doing that for the last 8.5 years, nearly 9 years now, is that the women and the men that cross my path tend to come to me for some sort of reason. And it's only from doing what I do online on my social media that it's given me like a an outlet, a funnel to be able to help people with whatever they've experienced and whatever they need help with. So that's why I decided to just be raw and real and open myself up to the universe. Um, so yeah, I basically live in Ramsgate in Kent. I have been here all my life, bar a couple of years that I lived away in Ashford. Um, and I am looking to move. The house is up for sale, so the background is going to change, and hopefully, I will have a little room just for my podcast at some point. So I'm not perfect. I'm pretty far imperfectly perfect. Um, but I will promise to keep showing up throughout that mess and the challenge that is moving a house. Um, so my passions. I'm very artistic. I actually went to college to do four RA levels, which I really, really enjoyed. I wanted to be a bridal wedding designer, fashion designer. However, I had my first child at 17, and my life kind of changed in a lot of ways from that point on. My passions are anything kind of like to help people, help teach people. I'm very much, if I can learn it, I learn it to teach. Recently found out I have ADHD, which kind of summed up the last God knows how long of my life. And I don't see it as anything that has held me back. If anything, it's pushed me forward because it's like having a superpower. You get very clever at doing a lot of things at once to a very high standard, and it people might think it looks manic from the outside, but it's like your organized chaos. And that's how I've kind of managed to do all the things I've done, everything I've achieved in my life around the seasons. I'm just gonna say the seasons because we all know that life is life. It lifes. Um, so like I said, I started this podcast purely because a number of ladies suggested that I share my knowledge, my wisdom, my tools, a bit of my life, the crazy with everyone else, because they felt like it would help a lot more people. And it has taken me a long time to get here. Um, so, what can you expect from the podcast? Well, it is going to be mainly me. I will be going through, there is so much I can teach you. Um, and there is so much I can bring, which is amazing, really. Um, but there is also going to be guests. I have the honor and knowing a few people that I feel like they need to kind of voice what it is they do and how they can help. Um, so I am in the process of figuring out how that's going to go. But like I said, this is the first episode. I am far from perfect, but I will keep showing up for you. Um, so what's my story? Okay, this is where it's kind of like I could tell you 1,000 stories. That could be my story. Um, but the pivotal point of my life, I feel, was my teenage years. Um, Teenage years are hard anyway, and I was in a family environment where it was just very challenging, very difficult. And I'd gone through, and I will kind of share the past, but the pinnacle point for me basically was when I was about 14, 15, and I just didn't feel like I was in the right place. Like it was. It's pretty surreal, really. I always expected more for myself. I wanted more for myself. And at such a young age as well. I remember my dad used to say to me all the time, "Oh, find a millionaire to marry." And I can remember in my head, why do I have to find a millionaire? Why can't I be one? Like it's it's kind of like I know that not everyone has those thoughts and feelings, but at that age, having already gone through some major things, I already knew that I wanted more for myself, that I wanted more for my life, and that the reason why I was going through what I was going through is perhaps because I was going to meet someone along the way that needed a bridge, either what they were going through that was similar to what I already had gone through. And if I could spare anyone going literally right through the challenge, if I could just give them a bridge to go over it, that's what I wanted to do. Um, so yeah, I think that was a very pinnacle point in my life where I kind of thought I was made for more. Um, I had normal struggles at school. I didn't really have many like friend networks. Um, it's not as if I've had friends all the way through school or anything like that. I've just kind of, and as I say, being diagnosed with ADHD, it kind of sums up why I always felt different. But back then, you just get on with it. And women and girls as a part and parcel, it's not picked up as easily because instead of maybe us doing how a boy with ADHD would, because they haven't got that outlet, we kind of just focus on what we can do. And I find that is the difference between boys and girls, especially with ADHD, boys, like if you put them outside with anything, they'll they'll be out there forever. Like girls, I'd much rather, I don't know, reorganize my posters on my wall or journal or, you know, can you remember the old Segas? Like, and I remember back, was it like a Commodore 20? And I remember having the book and having to literally program this game into like a tape, you had a tape recorder and the keyboard and you had to and the television was so small and it was all the way over there and there I am trying to program in this game. Um, First time it didn't work. Don't know why, but how do you know what the game was? Blitz. Does anyone remember Blitz? It was where all the you had to bomb all the buildings and then land, and then you came out waving. Honestly, those are kind of the craziest, but it kept me like mentally active. It kept me busy, and I find that I am very much one that self-soothes, and I will retire and I will kind of figure things out on my own because that's all I've ever known. But it does now, looking back, I do notice the times where maybe like the outbursts and stuff where I just didn't know what to do. Like I really wanted to go out with my mum and dad and my sisters, but I really didn't want to go visiting again. I didn't want to go and sit on the floor in the kitchen and watch everyone have tea. And so I just remember I remember vividly, it must have been 8 or 9. Like literally, I didn't want to go visiting, but I didn't want to not go with my mum and dad. And I remember I was just left at home and I cried the whole time. And I can remember sitting on the step, waiting at the front, like opposite the front door, just going, okay, they left me for good because, you don't know back then. But it was a different time. Like I said, I'm nearly 50 now, so I've got quite a few little stories. Um, so hopefully, when I do share things, you will find them relatable. I don't want to make everyone cry. I would like you to actually be uplifted by some of the things I share. Um, and I always, always welcome any feedback. So yeah, don't hold back, even if it might hurt. Like I'm just doing my best, and that's what I plan to do. So, if you're listening, how do you know if you're in the right place? You're probably around my age. You're probably a woman. You've probably been married and divorced, and you've had children. Did I say that already? Um, and you're kind of like at the age where, do you know what? Done. Don't want any more drama. Don't even want to think about it. However, you'd welcome any tools. You'd welcome any tips. You'd welcome just having someone on your side because let's face it, ladies, we get quite isolated as we get older. And yes, it's peaceful, brilliant. However, sometimes we just need someone to give us a hug. I just recently went through something with my youngest daughter, um, and it was really surreal and I don't know, it was kind of like 3 days later, and I just woke up and I just burst out crying. Um, and I just wanted a hug. You know, when you're just like, there's no one here, it's just me, like again, on my own. I've got to do this on my own. So hopefully, if not, I'm just crazy and you'll just find me entertaining. But yeah, I think you'll be in the right place. Um, What's the one thing I want my listeners to know right from the start? Don't let anyone tell you you can't do something that you want to do. Ever. Ever. If you really want it that much, it's your life. We get one life, we get limited time. And if you want to do something, just do it. Book the trip, buy the bag and the shoes. Um, if you thought about it and you've kind of processed it and you're like, right, well, do you know what? I really want to do this. It's on my vision board. I've got the opportunity. Can't really afford it. Shouldn't really be doing it. Just do it. Just do it. Because when you have something to look forward to, even if it is buying a bag. Now, I've just put off buying a bag for the last 3 weeks because for so many reasons. I got rid of a couple of bags, I put them on Vinted, I threw some my way, and I was just, do I really need another bag? Do I really need another? Buy the bag, buy the bag. If you're not buying it at the beginning, there's going to be a reason why. Like it could be that, I don't know, that it's going to go on sale or you're going to save a bit more money from it. Um, but yeah, yeah, maybe think about it, like write down your pros and cons, and things like that. But at the end of the day, I think we need to be rewarded for what we go through, what we live. I don't think we are given enough credit for our lives. Like, we're women, we have to deal with a lot of things. And I just want you to realize that you are worth it. Like, whatever you want, you are worth it. No matter how much you think that you're not, you are. You will always be worth it, regardless of what anyone said to you, how anyone's made you feel. Life's too short. So I'm hoping that that has given you a little peek into who I am and why I'm here behind this mic. Um, I want this podcast to feel like we're sitting together, chatting about real stuff that makes us stronger, braver, and more confident in our own skin. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming up next. I've got some amazing episodes lined up that I know will inspire you. And like I said, some episodes are going to be deep because that's the only way I can help you kind of see what's happened and how I've got through it and how it might relate to you in a different way. Because personally, I hope all the things that's happened to me in my life do not relate to you. I truly hope that I have taken it all for you. But I do hope that from tuning in each week and listening to me, um, and feel free to ask any questions. Like, I will read the comments. If you've got any questions for me, if you want anything answered, I might not do like them in a whole podcast, but I will write down any questions and I will answer them. And if I don't answer them in a podcast, I will respond to you. So don't feel like, if you've got any questions, if just reach out to me. This is on YouTube. It's also in a Facebook group, um, and hoping to get it on Spotify as well. But you can access me so through YouTube or Facebook. So if you have got any questions, then please put them in the comments of wherever you see this, or send me a direct message. I'm not going to say that I can reply to everyone because now I'm expecting a massive influx. I am a working girl, you know. I do avidly work my pharmacy business, but I will help in what way I can. And like I said, most of the time it probably will be through the podcast episodes, but I just don't want people to feel like they haven't got someone because I spent a lot of my life not having anyone. And I don't want anyone to feel like that. So, thanks for spending this time with me today. And until next time, remember, You are enough always. Keep that crown on your head. It might slip. It might kind of go to fall off, but make sure you catch it and put it back on because it deserves to be there on your head because the world needs your light. And I will see you next week.